Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. It is Friday, December 8th. Happy Friday to you. Vlog number 360. Got a good one for you today, I think. I see this is on again. Just trying to figure out what some of these things are. I got some good stuff to show you, I think. Really interesting. For me, it's very exciting. Maybe not as exciting for you, but some of this will be of interest to you, I am positive. Anyway, the first little item of business is what I did yesterday right after the vlog completed. I did the window replacement, so take a look at this real quick. Thought I'd show you what the new glass looks like. You can actually see through it, see out the back. Very nice. Here's what it looks like from the other side. So much better. And here's what the original glass was like. Oh my gosh. It's not that it's just dirty. Seriously, even when you completely clean it, you just can't see through it. It's just, it's just, especially you get out in the sun's hitting it at an angle, you can't see through it at all. So I was really glad to get rid of that thing. That's been bugging me for years. I don't know why I didn't do that before now. So that was issue number one. And I got a surprise visit yesterday. Take a look at this. Well, you see this pile of wood right here? I didn't cut that. That came as a gift from Oliver. Take a look at this clip.
I brought you some wood. My Clydesdale. Walk up. Okay, stand. Oh.
That's the slowest walking horse I've ever seen.
Sue said that's the slowest walking horse she's ever seen. You know, we're my whole life we've grown up with gaited horses, foxtrotters, and they travel. I mean, they really move out, and they're fast. Even when they're walking, they're fast. They're high strung and all that. So like a quarter horse, for instance, when they walk, they really walk slow. I mean, they really walk slow. You can't take a quarter horse and a foxtrotter on the same trail ride, or one of you will go crazy because you can't, they're just at different speeds entirely. If you want to ride together, it just doesn't work. And that's kind of the way, most other horses are slow gaited. They just walk really slow, but they're deliberate, and that's the way Oliver is. But I was very thankful for the firewood, and my charge to you is you go over to the Homestead Horsemanship channel and you tell JR thanks for the firewood, and to be sure to encourage him to bring me more. So you have to do and say things that will encourage him to bring me more firewood. So because of that, I'll be able to work on the sawmill today. I don't have to go cut firewood right away. So, because he brought me 2 loads, those are really tiny loads, to be honest with you, but that'll get me through another day or two, maybe 2 or 3 days. You just never know, depending on the weather. And the weather's really warm out there this morning. It's actually quite warm for this time of year. Let's see. I did some metal detecting yesterday afternoon because it was so nice and warm again. It was in the low 60s, so take a look at this real quick, and then I'll show you some more stuff. It's crazy windy out here, but I'm back here at this house place where the rock wall was, and I just thought I'd let you hear how noisy this ground is, how many pieces of metal are in the ground. Every time you hear a beep, you can pretty much bet it's a piece of iron. Can you hear all that? It's unbelievable. There's stuff everywhere. You can't hardly move it an inch without hitting some kind of target, and it's trying to discriminate through those targets and find the better targets is what I'm trying to do, and it's not an easy job. And that's fact. I haven't been detecting around the old house with the rock wall too much. I mean, I did out in the field out in front of it. I detected quite a bit of that, but I didn't. I kind of quit detecting right around that old house just because there's so much stuff, and it's mostly nails and what we call steeples, but most people call them fence staples. Anyway, I thought I'd show you some of the stuff I found in the ground right around that old house there by the rock wall. One of the first things I dug up was this. And you can tell what that is. That's a, us country people, we just called it a sickle, but it's a scythe is probably the proper name. This would have gone on a handle, this part here, and then this would be for cutting the weeds or the grass. Now this is a short one. My guess, and it's only a guess, I don't know anything more than this, is that this would have been probably used in the yard, number one, and then perhaps very likely in a garden, because they would, go between the rows and cut the weeds out of, and you would need a shorter one for that. It's the total guess. I have no idea if that's true or not. That's just what I'm thinking. But you can see it's in pretty darn good shape. It's cracked across there. It's the decoration is still in there, and it's actually still reasonably sharp, believe it or not. I mean, you can cut yourself on it for sure. And it's got the little hook there. This went through a hole, and then you tighten a screw down, and this pulled it in tight somehow. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I know that's how it worked basically. So that was one thing. I found a lot of other stuff. I can't even tell you how many of these plowshares, the points on the plows that I found. I can't even tell you now. I would say 8 or 10 of them by now. At least 8, I would think. And I don't even know. I haven't looked to see if there's any identifying marks on these yet. They're still pretty dirty. But this is not the same as this one. These are separate, and this one's more broken, of course. So with finding 8 or 9 of those things, or however many I found, I would assume they're going to last 5 or 6 years, and so how many years does this span? I mean, I doubt seriously they had multiples of it. You know what I mean? They probably replaced it whenever they needed to, or whenever they broke it or lost it or whatever. I don't know. It makes me wonder about that. And then here's, this is just typical of some of the stuff you find, just lots of junk like this. And I was looking at this, and I was beginning to wonder if it couldn't have been some sort of a knife or something, but I don't think so. I think it's just a piece of junk, just a piece of metal. And then I found this. Now, this is a curiosity here. I don't know what this is. It reminds me of the scythe. If you look at, because of this turned up piece. And this has holes, and I should have opened the holes up. I didn't open them up. Let me see if I can open them up real quick. Yeah, I think I can. I can see them on one side here. I can see them on this side. And anyway, so it's got holes like that, and you can see that would have bolted to something, and I really don't know. It appears to have been hammered on this end here. I wonder if it wasn't an early sickle bar, where you have those little triangular blades and things, and maybe it had a bar, attached somehow, and it was back and forth like this type of thing. A horse-drawn sickle bar. That's the best thing I've got. I don't know what else it could have been. If anybody has a better idea, please say so in the comments. I found a lot of other miscellaneous stuff. Here's just a chain link. Here's these bullets are interesting in that they're 303 cartridge. Now, those were first developed, according to what I found out, by Savage around 1895. So these are pretty old, I'm pretty sure of that. Then I found quite a few more just shotgun head stamps that I haven't identified yet, and most of those have been turn of the century in the 1800s also. Most of those I found. And then I found this thing, and I don't know what this thing is. I have no idea. It kind of reminds me of something that would have been in an old coffee pot. That's my best guess, but I don't know that for sure either. If anybody else knows, I don't even drink coffee, so, it's heavier than I would have expected for a coffee pot. I'll be honest, it's pretty thick, pretty heavy. So if anybody has a guess, let me know. And then two little bit better items that I found. Yeah, these are kind of cool, and I'm beginning to wonder if at least this one's not Civil War related. This is just a total guess. This is not about the title. I've got something better for the title that you'll see here. But I'm beginning to wonder if this rivet, or kind of a little thing here, is not Civil War. And the reason I say that, because I know typically this would be like a blue jean rivet, or it would be a overall rivet or something like that. But number one, it doesn't have any writing on it at all, plain Jane. Number two, it kind of reminds me of something that would be on a knapsack or something like that. It really does kind of give me that vibe. It could easily be an overall button or a blue jeans button. But if anybody's seen that in a Civil War frame or reference, please say so. Because I don't know on that one. I'm not calling that Civil War yet, just so you understand. Now, this other little thing is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. It's tiny. It's tiny. Can you see that? It never focuses very good. It's tiny, but it's got gold gilt on it, and you can see it in the microscope. When you look under the microscope, you can see little gold in the little crevices, and there's little, kind of like little floral decorations in these little corners that you probably can't even see. It's hard to see it. It doesn't show up very good. But anyway, this is some sort of a jewelry thing, I guess, is my best guess. And with the gold gilt on it, If anybody has an idea about that, please say so. I'd like to hear your ideas. And then let's see, I think I have another little video clip here. Take a look at this. And we're out of focus, of course. Maybe it'll refocus when we come back. Well, my friends, I just found something. I don't know what it is. You can see it's kind of a big disc here. I have a feeling it's another cow tag, but I don't know that yet. I can't get it out. I think there must be a hole and something growed through the hole because it won't pull out. So I'm going to carefully dig that out, and I'll show you what it is here in just a minute. And no, it didn't refocus. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. I hate it when it does this. Okay, well, anyway, I can't control what I can't control. These are what I was telling you about cow tags. I found 4 of them so far. Now, these are not what was in that video. It's not these specific ones anyway. Let's say it that way. So you can see here, the numbers are fairly large. The holes are oblong, except for this one. Okay, this one closest matches the one I just found, but look at this. I found the whole thing. I found the whole thing. This answers that riddle. I kept saying, how did they attach them? Well, I guess we know how they attached them now. Pretty cool, and it's back in focus. And now look at the number on this. It's completely different size. It's even kind of a different shape, and the cutout in there is smaller than the cutout on these, if you will. The number size is different. And when you measure the length from here to here, this one here is 200 2 inches, 940 thousandths long, the length of it. This one is only 2 inches, 840 thousandths long. So this one's shorter than this one. So they're not the same. So that makes me think they're at different times. I think this one's much older because I found this one at that old house place. That old house place I really think is the oldest thing on the farm. I really do. So this one makes me think it's quite a bit older. The chain is, I kind of look at it more like a semi-modern type chain. It's a twisted chain. So that doesn't make me think this is terribly old. I'm thinking maybe in the 20s or somewhere in there, teens, something like that. But anyway, we finally found one with the chain attached, which I was kind of wondering why that hadn't happened yet. Now for the, I guess I'd call it the best thing here. And did I lose it already? Probably did. No, I didn't. Okay, a while back I showed you this thing that I found, and I said, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I showed you this, and I said, I think it's a spur. Well, last night I was watching a metal detecting channel, and this guy was detecting a known Civil War battlefield, and he had found, and the other guy too, both of them together, they were finding literally hundreds of bullets. And they found a lot of other stuff too. They found all kinds of, just like I showed here, this button. That's one of the reasons that makes me think that's what it could be, is Civil War. It's because they were finding things like this, and they had names for each one of the things. This held the knapsack, and this held the whatever, and so they were naming all that stuff. Well, when they got to this item, and they had the whole thing, they had the whole spur, and they said it's a Civil War cavalry spur. And man, it looks exactly like this. So I'm going to call this a Civil War spur. That's what I'm going to call it. It was out in that field. I didn't find this yesterday. I found this a while back. So I'm going to rate this along with my other Civil War items. And I have found this, including this now, I say 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this will be the 9th Civil War item that I have. And just to give you a real quick review, I've got, bullets. This is 69 caliber. Here's one that's been chewed on by, I think, varmints. This one here was flattened out, and I know it's a Civil War bullet because I can see the rings in the bullet, and it was flattened out. Here's a Civil War Eagle button, General Service button. And here's, another bullet. I forget the names of each of these. One of them's Sharps, one of them's Enfield. The other ones are mini balls, a 3-ring mini ball. And when you look these up on the Civil War page, they look like these are in the picture. So, there's no doubt about it. And then I found two rimfire cartridges. These are Fitch Van Vecht rimfire cartridges made in around 1864. So that's really, and then I've had other Civil War experts look at this stuff and they go, absolutely for sure. That's what they said. So it's not just my opinion, by the way. And I found these other things. Now, I found these a while back. I don't even remember when I found these, but these are starting to make me think, could these be Civil War? And here's a deal that, it's round on the end. It used to be hollow, obviously, and it wouldn't surprise me if this wasn't something related to Civil War. This is, these all have the same kind of patina, and I don't know what this is. It's, again, these are like brass pieces. This flat end cap, don't know what it is. It could just be off of a broom, for all I know. I'm just saying that these are things that have potential, I think. This one, I think, has the most potential. And that is that this, I really think, was probably a little canister for holding the primers for your, muzzleloading type rifles. I think this held the primers. That's what I really think it is. I'm not calling it Civil War, but I really think this has got very good potential. I just haven't seen anything else just like it. I probably need to look that up as a primer for the Civil War, or primer container, type thing. Might be able to find some link to it there. I think that's pretty much it. Well, I thought I'd just show you this just for grins. Pretty much every piece that you see here was dug individually. Yeah, and then I found some glass in the one hole. This would have been interesting had it not been broken, but I don't think it's real old. I would have said, early 1900s is probably what I would have guessed. But there's just tons of nails and like here's some more nondescript metal like this, and lots and lots of these fence staples, just lots of these too. Yeah, I don't even know, probably 10 of those at least. Lots of little bits of metal can. So I mean, that's why you find so much in the ground. I mean, it was an old house place that either probably burnt down or the bulldozer just smeared it, and then all the wood rotted away, So anyway, it is what it is. If you have any idea on any of those things, be sure to put it in the comments. Let's go to the comments and see what we've got going on there. I know we had a lot of comments this time for sure before we went live. We've already got 148 viewers. John Pepper says good morning. Dean Barnes, good morning. Tom Armstrong, good morning. Thank you for your vlog yesterday. It's comforting to know that though our hands become tattered and torn, they can still be placed gently together in prayer. Thank you. Yep. I thought I'd I think I can hold it together and tell you a little bit more about her condition. It was a kind of a unique condition that I think, I say unique. It's more unique the fact that it was on both sides, that her kidneys were both infected because the bladder was pumping the fluid back into the kidneys, and, it wasn't, your bladder's supposed to pinch that off and not allow it only allow it to go one way. Well, hers was letting it go both ways. And the doctor told us, he said, believe it or not, he says, just literally, when this was discovered when she was just a year and a half old, I think. And he said, just 10 years ago, if you were diagnosed with this 10 years ago, you would die. He said, we've only come up with cures in the last 10 years, he said. And what that amounts to is that you have to stay on high dose antibiotics until you're like old enough to have the operation, and it varies on the individual. And it's more like you have to be big enough. It's not so much how old you are; it's how big you are, and your bladder has to be big enough to be able to be. They go in and they actually cut the tubes off of the bladder, and then they reattach them on the bottom of the bladder so that the bladder itself sits on the tubes and pinches them off. And she had that done. We were able to keep her on the high dose antibiotics till she was 7. And seriously, if you let her go off of those antibiotics at any time, for any amount of time, instant fever to the roof. It was a life-threatening condition for sure. So anyway, that all worked out real well. She's had a few more problems since then, but nothing real severe. It might be severe to her, but, not so much life-threatening type problems. But, infections and different things she's still prone to, but not quite so bad like it used to be. Moving on, Brian Webster, morning from Sunrise, Florida. Tom, Christmas song theme, compare Christmas years ago to today. Okay. Yeah, that's an idea. There was a time. Okay, that's another one from Tom. Ronald Lewis, good morning, Jerry. Clyde Price. Good morning, Jerry. Hope you have a great day, and wondering if your clocks are set back 1 hour in the fall like here in Canada. Yes. It's the way we always say it, or at least I've always said it, is you spring forward in the spring and you fall back in the fall, and that's the way we always remember it. Chuck Heidbreder, good morning from St. James, Missouri, and Chris Morris, and for Salome, Arizona. And Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Well, I feel like I'm doing fairly well this morning. And there's Dave Hunt and Richard Dugan's. All I want for my Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Yeah, that's a good song. Bruce Ducker, we don't know it, but it's a good song. Bruce Ducker there from Florida, and Hey Now is the username. Morning, Jerry. And then Christia Thomason from North Carolina. And then after we went live, we got Jeff Puris was the first one there. WP Morning from St. Pete, Florida. And then we have Shiny Cage with a long one here, so let me read it. Hi, Jerry. Stephen from the UK here. Regarding your Christmas song, how about something set in the Civil War? Brothers, different sides, coming back home for Christmas. Well, that's an idea. That's a good idea. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll see. We'll see. Don't really know yet. It's funny how it is with me when I write a song. It seems to all come to me at once, almost. I mean, like almost all of it at once. There's been a few songs where I've spent days and weeks, like The Vine-Covered Church. That song took me 6 months to write, and I don't know why. It just did. Most of the songs, I would say 95 out of 100, have just taken a matter of a few minutes to an hour, you know. Ronald Todd, good morning, everyone from the West Bank of New Jersey. And then Richard Corella. Okay, I'm going to start looking for more questions. You are a phenomenal craftsman. Where can I get an antler saddle? You can get antler saddles now from Caleb Mills Guitars on YouTube. Just look him up on YouTube, Caleb Mills Guitars. I might have a link in my description to Caleb. I really don't remember if there's one in there right at the moment or not. There have been in some of the past vlogs. Christia Thomason, great job, Oliver. Yep. Oliver's worth his weight in gold right now to me. That's awesome. Yeah, Oliver's in good shape. Yeah, he's in very good shape. I would say he's 99.9%, there. I think that type of disease he had and the malnutrition he had, it hangs with you for a while. But I'd say he's about 99% back. And Bruce is answering the question about Caleb on the antler saddles. Joey Dano Guitars, good morning from Anthony, Florida. Don't think I've heard of that one. And there's Timothy Werblow. Michael 2X. Hey, Rosemeister, will you please ask Emery to be on the Christmas show? Yes, I will. And I meant to do that already, and I need to do that right away. So I'll try to remember to text her as soon as we're done here, because I do want her to come and sing Star of Bethlehem. There's nobody sings that like she does. Oh my gosh, she kills on that song. Marigold Time. Greetings from Sweden. Sweet Oliver, she says. Mike Bennett. And then... well, it jumped on me there. I lost where I was. I don't know. Where did it go? That is just so weird. There it is. Okay, it jumped more than I thought. Kathy, it didn't look like it moved, but maybe that far, but it moved like that far. Kathy Volts. And then Eddie D, that looks like a hinge. Okay, this thing here. Yeah, maybe. I'd say a maybe on that. I don't think so, though. This is not round right here, by the way. This is fairly flat on the one side and round, a little bit round on the edges, but it's fairly flat, as you can kind of see there. So I don't think that's a hinge. It might be. At least that's one, I guess, one you're talking about. And yeah. Moving on down through there, there's Bill Webb, Walt Willard, Rich Curiella, Michael 2X. Oh, he's speaking German, I guess? I don't know. He's probably, I don't know. Larry Fisher. You guys have all these talents. I don't have any of those things. I can count to 10 in Russian. Один, два, три, четыре, can't even say it. Один, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь, восемь, девять, десять. Now I can do that. And yet, and До свидания, and I know that much in Russian. Why do I know any Russian? Well, that's because if you remember the Cold War, back when I was in Mason Ridge Elementary School, they brought in a Russian teacher into every class for, I think, 4 years in a row, and we had to try to speak Russian, and shoot. You talking about one hard language. That's a hard language. I didn't learn hardly anything. It's funny how that stuck with me, though, the counting and a few things like that. Larry Fisher, I've got an old restored Savage 1899 lever rifle 303 Savage bonus. It has deluxe wood and deluxe checkering. Great find at $375. Boy, you bet that's a great find. Yeah, apparently, I only did a tiny bit of research on the 303, and that is apparently it was a gun that was designed for the military, but it didn't take off in the military. It became a civilian hunting weapon, and was favored by the civilians for the hunting. And I found, that's not the first 2 303 bullets I found. I found quite a few of them here, so somebody was into the 303 for sure. Ronald Lewis, looks like a brush, sees one in all. Mine is for grass 5 foot with 2 handles, fun to use. He's talking about the scythe, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm just guessing. I kind of think it might have been for a garden, like, hoeing the weeds between like a row of corn or that kind of thing. Just keeping the weeds knocked down. It's what I'm just guessing. Don't know. No idea. But obviously it was for cutting weeds or grass or something. It's very obvious, that part. I just don't know specifically how they used it. And then we have Olav Sørland Hansen. Greetings from Oslo. Well, greetings to you too. He says temperatures have crept up from 5 degrees Fahrenheit some days to 23 degrees today. Well, that's, we get those temperatures here, and we even get below 0 here in Fahrenheit, and it's not pretty. I think the lowest I remember recording here, I think, was 18 below, and that's cold, man. I'm seriously telling you, that is frigid cold. It's just unbelievable. And things freeze up when it gets that cold. I hate it when it gets like that. It almost feels nice, he says. 23 degrees. Yep, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt it at all. He wants it to get above 32 so the snow can melt. Bill Shell, good morning, Jerry. Hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, and the same to you, Bill. Larry Fisher, that hook-shaped piece of metal looks like it might be a brace from a buckboard. Is that this one you're talking about? Yeah, I could see it being something along those lines. This hook is what throws me off a little bit, quite honestly. And for right now, and because I've seen the more modern ones that run a sickle bar, and often they're beat here. And the reason they're beat here is because you're driving it into a thing, and this is beat here. It just makes me think sickle bar. I mean, it really does. I don't know that it is, especially this end. This end's a little different than the modern ones, but it's very similar. Very similar. So I don't know. Just guessing, and everybody's guess is just as good as mine. Backstory, family history. My husband is a Gettysburg native. As a child, he found 1 Union and 1 Confederate bullet on the battlefield. Back then, kids from the town could wander the battlefield, and many found bullets. I don't doubt that at all. WP, lots of Civil War stuff was brought home by a veteran. Our family has a sword from He was, and I definitely get that. And except for the fact that this is also varied. I don't think this is from somebody bringing it home. And they were found; these bullets are found in various different places. They weren't, close together or anything like that. In fact, one of them was way up here in the front of the field, and one of them way back there, a half mile back. And they're all different calibers and different rifles. So I don't think this is just an individual. I really don't. I really 100% believe something happened here. It may not have been a battle. It might have just been spending time camped here, because we have lots of springs in this valley. It would have been a perfect place for a camp. It could easily be a skirmish too, because Missouri, people will argue this, but Missouri, according to a lot of the notes that you'll find on the Civil War, had more skirmishes and small battles than any other state. It was tough here in Missouri because it was a border, it's one of those split states where half the people were one way, half were the other way. So that's what made it really bad, And there's Yolanda's music. Good morning, and I see she still hasn't cracked even 900 yet. Guys, go help her out. It's a shame. She should have already hit 1,000 a long time ago. Anybody can sing like that deserves to have 1,000. Marigold Time is speaking that language again. I'm just assuming, Marigold, you're saying nice things. You seem like a really nice person, so I'm just going to assume that. Bill Webb says, or a door hinge. Yeah. I still don't think it's a hinge, though. I don't think it is. I wish I knew what it was. I'm sticking with a sickle bar because that's what I think it is. I really do. I'll tell you another reason I think that is because technology's changed slowly at that time at that time in our history. This technology here, this is for a cutting blade. That technology there makes me think it's got something to do with a cutting blade also. And then the fact that it really does look like the kind of sickle attachments that I've seen in the modern sickles, and this is beat here. I'm sticking with sickle bar until somebody comes up with a better one. I really think that's what it is, but I don't know that. I mean, again, I'm just basing it on logic and common sense type things at this point. And if this was round, if this was perfectly round here, I would say hinge. You'd be right, but this ain't round. It's pretty flat. So I mean, it still could spin inside of a round hole. I get that, but I don't think that's what it is. Bill Dedrick says, would you consider Dan Tyminski to be a good mandolin player? Well, let me say it this way. Every mandolin player that you've ever really heard of, any of those guys that, are out there on YouTube and make good music, every one of them's got me beat badly. So, I mean badly. And I'm not just saying it looking for sympathy. I'm seriously telling you, they got me beat really badly. And I know Dan Tyminski's got me beat really badly. So if I'm considered to be an okay mandolin player, then they're definitely good mandolin players. So yeah, there's no question. I would consider Dan Tyminski a very good mandolin player. Marigold Time says, Yolanda, darn, you made me cry again on the live concert. Yeah, she's got a beautiful voice. I tell you, Yolanda really does. Yolanda says, I'm sorry. James Kopp, I learned Christmas in Killarney. Listen to Bing Crosby for inspiration. I've heard that, but it's been a long time ago since I've heard that. I need to try to find that. Old Hickory, were you ever able to put the alarm clock in the drawer like you said in the song about leaving the corporate job? I'm guessing no. Well, I guess for the most part, yes, but the alarm clock now, at least it's for things I like to do. You know what I mean? I still set the alarm clock for these vlogs, for one thing. But, I'm a morning person anyway. And quite honestly, the alarm clock almost never goes off. I wake up before the alarm clock almost every single morning. I set it as a fail-safe that I won't sleep past a certain time by accident so that I'll have time to do the vlog. But I'm almost always awake before that. So, in a way, I have put it away. But no, I get your point. And I've thought of the exact same thing when I've sang that song, too. I really have. Jerry, we speak Swedish. Yeah, well, I don't doubt that at all. Yeah, I'm sure you do. You are and you have been. But it's totally foreign to me. I can't make out heads or tails from anything right there. Michael USA. Ragusa, I guess, is probably the way you say that. Jerry, I would write the song all about the beautiful horse of yours sleigh riding around the farm. Michael is my name. Well, thank you, Michael. I'll consider that for sure. Right now, the theme I like the best so far has been the Oliver theme and the two brothers coming back for Christmas. Because, again, Missouri was a divided state, I really like that theme a lot. I don't know if I'll get there yet or not. It's not hit me yet. I mean, I'm still looking. Don't get me wrong. I'm not settled on anything at this point. I'm just hoping that it'll hit and then it'll just happen because that's the way it usually does. If it don't hit, man, we may not have a song by the Christmas program. Marigold Time. She's speaking that again. Never mind. Nelson Watkins. Good morning from Conway, South Carolina, just outside of Myrtle Beach. Hope y'all have a great weekend. We do have a jam this evening in St. James. For the most part, I'll probably be the only one attending it from the band because the band's kind of got burnt out on it because it just hasn't been. I won't go any further than that. It just hasn't been working out so well. Ben Boyd, good morning, Jerry. Thoughts on Eastman mandolins? Well, I've given those thoughts quite a few times, Ben, and I think Eastman mandolins are very nice mandolins. Very nice mandolins. I think it's hard to buy a bad Eastman mandolin. I think every one I've seen has been at least it's met my expectations, every one of them. Where, like I'll see, like the lore as an example. I'm not picking on the lore, just so you understand, because I think they're pretty good too. But I'll see some really good ones of those, and I'll see some that they're okay, But the Eastmans, they've all been really fine, just no problem at all. So I think if you can get into a mandolin and it's an Eastman, more than likely you'll be happy with it. Backstory, family history. Do you get your Christmas tree from the woods on your farm? Well, I did last year, and I may do it again this year. You just never. No, actually, the one in the house. To be honest, I'm just being honest with you. The grandkids and everybody set up an artificial tree in the house for the most part. The problem with the cedar trees here. They shed really bad. I mean, like they shed really bad. You cut them down and you just have a mess in the house in no time at all. But I will probably cut a real one for our backdrop here, off the farm. I mean, I did that last year, and I'll probably use my little Christmas axe again to go do it again, and maybe film it and use it as a halftime show if we don't have a halftime show. Let's see. Moving down through here, Blackjack Guitar, Jerry. The L-shaped piece looks like part of a log turner tool. Yeah, sort of. They do have spikes on them. Yeah, maybe. I don't think so, though. Honestly, I don't think that's it either. I don't think so. It could be, maybe. Can't rule it out. I can't rule anything out. I just, I'm still going with what I think right now, for the most part. Paul Lanier, Ergo Time. Napping flint or rock is fun. I've made over 500 items. So Paul's a napper, huh? Yeah, I haven't done enough of that to really say I'm a napper. I've done a teeny little bit of that here and there, but just a tiny little bit. I tell you, I don't mean to sound like I'm such an expert on arrowheads, but people have tried to fool me on multiple occasions. I remember one specifically. I was at the Grassy Bluegrass Festival, and this was probably back in the late '80s, maybe early '90s, but somewhere in that time frame. And some guy comes up to me all excited. He says, "I heard you're an arrowhead expert." He says, "I just found this." And I looked at it and I took it and I said, "Well, you might have just found it. That's very possible." I said, he says, "I just found this Native American Indian point," or something like that. And I said, "Well, you might have just found it." And I said, "It's possible it was made by a Native American also." I said, "But it ain't no ancient artifact, Native American artifact." He's going, "Well, how do you know that?" And I said, "I can just tell by looking." I said, this is a modern Indian made this one here, and he's going, "Well, you're right. I bought it from that guy over there." He tried to fool me, but it's pretty hard to fool me on that stuff. I'm not saying I can't be fooled, because anybody can be fooled, but no, it takes a lot to fool me. I know that stuff pretty good. I've studied it for years and years and years. Do I think I'm an expert on it? No, not really. I just think I know a lot about it. Let's see. Marigold Time. I read that the Civil War started in Missouri, the first state to protest against slavery. Yeah, in fact, there's a lot of truth to that. There was a lot of John Brown. I can't remember all the details of all that stuff, but there were certain raiders and things that were, going around and starting kinds of skirmishes and things at the very, very beginning, the onset, because they were talking about abolishing slavery, and there were people that were totally for it, and, there was a lot of stuff. And I don't remember the exact history of it. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I do know that what you're talking about there's some definite truth to some of that, for sure. Larry says, "I liked your green screen scenes." Well, I did too, Larry, but not that many people did. I just got comment after comment after comment after comment after comment that they didn't like it. So I thought, well, if you don't like it, the heck with it. I thought it was pretty cool to be able to show scenes from the farm. I mean, like, how much of that do you need to see? But I'm not going to go back to it, I don't think. Yeah, Larry Fisher says the Kansas Redlegs. Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard of it. And Eddie, yeah, I like the green screen too. Well, okay, well, there you go. Maybe we could. Well, I doubt we could put it up for Christmas. The problem with the green screen, it's a real problem. I mean, I probably have to have some specific camera for it. The real problem with the green screen is I had to have everything up so close. Like I had a pretty big green screen, but this camera is such a wide angle. I don't know. It's just really hard to explain. And then if the band got here, there's no way that I can set up the green screen and with the band, which is what I really wanted to do. I thought it would really be cool to have, like a Christmas scene in the background or something like that while we're playing music, or, and have it change every so often, that kind of thing. But that ain't happening. I would have to have an enormously huge green screen. The one I've got is big. I mean, it's like 10 by 12 or something, and maybe bigger than that. I can't remember now. And it ain't big enough. It ain't even sort of big enough. Anyway, it's a logistics it's just a I don't know, physical hardware type problem, and it's just hard to make it work. I mean, I can make it work for myself because I can zoom everything in closer. It works. But even then, it was right on the edge of working, believe it or not, even with a screen that big. Um, Chuck Highbreder says you can practice flint knapping on the thick bottoms of bottles. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that, and of course obsidian and different things. What else have I seen them make it out of? It seemed like I remember something else that was fairly unique. Can't remember right now. Some sort of a resin or something. The Freeze one, Jerry, your recorded version of Brother John is so good, I like it better than Seldom Seen. Well, thank you very much. That's very nice to hear. Seldom Seen were my heroes. I'm seriously telling you, they were my heroes. I love those guys. I got to meet them a little bit one time. I never got to meet John Duffy. I got to meet Ben Eldridge on the banjo and the guitar player. I can't think of his name for nothing. I never can think of his name. I don't know why. I should know it. But the guitar player that was later on, not the early. I would have loved to have met the early guitar players. I can't think of their name now either. Doc something. Yeah, forget it. You know me in names. I can't remember them. But I loved the Seldom Seen. And Paul Lanier, so true. I made a broken glass arrowhead for Jerry quite a few years ago. Yeah, I still got that laying in the other room, I think. So, yeah, I still have that glass arrowhead in there, and I'm sure it's still on my in my office in there. I appreciate that, Paul. Let's see. Green screen, yay! It's complicated. Yeah, it is complicated. It for me. It was the physics of it. It wasn't the software side of it. That part was fairly easy for me. It was the physical aspect of it. It just didn't fit here very well, and I would need a much bigger green screen to fit in the whole band. And I just didn't expect that. I thought it would be, 12 by 15 or whatever I have. It's pretty big. I would think that would be plenty big, and it wasn't. It wasn't big enough at all. All right, I'm going to look at these last couple here, and I think we're going to call it good. Ed D says, I might hit that old window with one of those headlight polishing kits. If it works, you can keep it as backup for the new one. Oh, yeah, that window thing, yeah, possibly, but I tell you, I never did like it. I never even liked it when it was brand new. I knew it was a piece of junk from the day we got it. I didn't like it, so I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm probably just going to cut it up and throw it in the trash. The new one I have, I'm not saying you can't scratch it because it scratches easily. So that'll be the problem with it. But you can't break it. I don't think you can break it at all. I mean, I'm telling you seriously, that Lexan stuff is one tough piece of plastic. It's really tough. Like I said, I tried to bend that stuff. I remember after I had told you that story, I remembered that I had put that Lexan in the oven at, I think, 425 degrees and left it in there for like 30 or 40 minutes, and it just laughed at me. It didn't even start to bend. It didn't even droop down. You would think, well, it'll certainly droop down. It didn't. It just did. It just laughed at me. I thought, man, that stuff is some kind of tough stuff. So again, I will say again, if you need to use a plexiglass for some application and you're worried that it might crack and break, get the Lexan. Trust me, it's good stuff. You'll pay a little more for it, I'm sure, but it's really good stuff. Larry Atkins, although your 100K plaque is in the best location, there is a reflection on it that hides the button maybe on the door over the blue towels. Yeah, it's a glossy reflection there. Those are not as fancy as they kind of appear on camera. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. I'm not knocking it, but it's just not as. It may be as nice as you might think it is. It's nice. I'm happy with it. It feels Feels kind of like metal here. This feels a little bit like a brushed aluminum or something. I'm not sure what that is. But I think this part here is probably a plastic. This shiny part is probably a plastic that would scratch probably really easy if you touched it. So I'm not going to touch it. And yeah, the glare, it's going to always be that way. But anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. And I agree, there is a glare on it. But I think that would probably depend a lot on these lights. Maybe not. No, it doesn't seem to. I don't know what's causing the glare today. In other days, I hadn't seen much of a glare, but for sure today there is. Let's see. Well, you guys snuck a couple more in here on me real quick. Let's see. Or maybe not. Let's see. The Freeze says, rinse Lexan before you wipe it. Yes, that's for sure. I agree with that. Keep it really wet and use one of those... I would suggest using one of those fiber towels too. I forget what you call them now, but those real soft fiber cloths. Forget what you call those things, but anyway, you probably know what I'm talking about. Those really soft cloths that's got all the like little fingers in it. I don't know. I can't think of names. That's the worst thing for me. It's just the worst. Eddie says they made bulletproof windows on cars with that Lexan. I don't doubt it. That stuff is one tough customer. Any plastic you put in an oven for like 30, 40 minutes and turn it up to 420 degrees and it don't even do anything, that's some tough plastic right there. I'm telling you. John Dobrnick, Jerry, the shoes you bought and said how great they are. Still like them? I love them. I absolutely love them. What are they called? Hokas, I think. Isn't that what they're called? Yep. Hoka. Hoka. These are my everyday walk around, using the shop shoes. And then I have a little nicer looking pair, I think, for like going to jams and stuff like that. And my wife liked them so much. She tried them on. And I came home one evening, I think from a jam, and she was wearing my shoes through the house. And, of course, they're way too big for her. But then she went and bought her own pair. The last time she went and visited my grandsons in Ohio, that's where I bought my first pair. So she went to the same store and bought a pair for herself. So she likes them that much too. They're really good. I really do like them a lot. So I probably won't be buying anything but Hokas in the future because that's what they're that different, I think. Terry cloth. Well, yeah, maybe that's not the name I'm thinking of, but that's similar. It's kind of like terry cloth. There's another name. I can't think of what it's called now. Like a dust-free cloth or something. I mean, it's something like that. I can't remember what it is. Mason Hamlin, Jerry, newbie here. Where is your music available? Most of the music that we've got recorded is available on my website, www.rosastringworks.com, and you can download them for about $1.50 a song, or more if you're real generous. Yolanda's music, microfiber. That's the word. Ding, 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 ding. She won. That's the word I was trying to think of. Microfiber. Yep, that's it. And so you could use those. Those are real soft, and those won't scratch your plexiglass too much, I don't think. But again, like the person said, you should keep it wet, and when you wipe it. Microfiber. A bunch of people are chiming in now. Yep. You all won, but Yolanda was first, or at least the first one I saw. 4-inch thick Lexan is used for windows in guardhouses at border crossings. I don't doubt it. I'm telling you what, that stuff's tough. And it's good stuff. And that was because I read about it and heard that it was like 30 times stronger than regular plexiglass. Of the same size, I thought, boy, that'll be perfect for these windows in the horse trailer. The horses won't bump their nose into it and break it, And a horse, you put a thin regular plexiglass, and they're going to break that in an hour. You know, it's not going to take them any time to bust that. They're not going to bust that stuff. I'm pretty positive of that. They're going to have a one sore nose if they break that. Well, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. 174 viewers. Hope you enjoyed today's vlog. I'm real excited about the stuff I'm finding here. I really think there's potential to find some more really cool stuff. Like I said, I had kind of quit searching around that one old place because it's just so much junk in the ground. And the other place has a lot of junk too, but this place is just eat up. You can't even move it. You can't move it that far without hitting a signal. It's nuts. And, you know, most of them are junk. Most of them are junk signals. But that's what makes it hard to find the good signals is because there's so much junk, you know. But if you're persistent, you can get through some of that and find some, at least stuff that's, you know, not a nail. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing. I'm just going through it, and I'm finding, but I'm still finding nails too. You can't help but find them as much stuff as is in the ground. We will see you Monday for sure. I don't know if I'll get a video out this weekend or not. I'm going to try. I'll really try to get something out. Y'all take care. We will see you soon.